Welcome to Foul Play. This is a Powder Puff production.
Welcome to the Powder Puff Podcast. Today, this is going to be part 2 of the changing statements. We left off last time with Scott Tadich. Who do you think is up next? Bobby Dassey's changing statements. In 11:05 interview on, it says 10:31:05, he woke up at 1400 or 14:30. At the same interview, he got up at 14:15 or 14:30. He left for deer hunting at 14:45 to 1500. The RAV was still there when he left. Teresa Hallback spent 5 minutes photographing the maroon van, and he doesn't know what color TH's trousers were. He came home from hunting at dark or shortly thereafter, around 16:45. The RAV was gone. No mention of when he left for work, no mention of a fire. On 11:05 interview, no mention of when he got up. He left home at 1500. No mention of what he saw TH doing. No mention of what TH was wearing. And he stayed at home until 23:30 and then left for work. No mention of a fire. On February 27/06, he got up between 1400 and 14:30, got into the shower, and went bow hunting. No mention of when he went deer hunting. He observed Teresa Hallback get out of her car and take 1 or 2 photos of the maroon van prior to him getting into the shower. Teresa Hallback was wearing black trousers. He can't recall what color her top was. Her arrive time was 17:30. It was dark outside. He was leaving for work at 21:30. While leaving for work, he noticed Stephen Avery was having a bonfire. The flames were 5 to 6 feet in height. He can't say for sure that Stephen Avery and Brandon Dassey were tending the fire. On November 17, 2017 interview, there is no mention of when he got up. The RAV4 was still there when he went deer hunting. No mention of the time. He saw Teresa Hallback get out of the car and take pictures of the van. He spent a couple of seconds looking out of the window. No mention of what Teresa Hallback was wearing. Her arrival time at 17:30. The RAV was gone. He went to work at around 21:20 or 21:25. While leaving for work, he saw a fire behind Stephen Avery's garage, and 2 people were standing by the fire. At the trial testimony, he got up at 1400. He went hunting at 14:40 or 14:45. He had seen Teresa Hallback take 1 photo of the front of the van. She had a black coat and it went past her hips, and she was wearing pants. I hope so. He got home at around 1700. He left for work at around 21:30. While leaving for work, he didn't see anything, not even Stephen Avery. He didn't even look. He remembered last seeing a bonfire at Stephen Avery's maybe 2 weeks before Teresa Hallback went missing. Oh, what do y'all think of that?
Wow. What am I gonna say? Wow.
Yeah.
How can that be? I mean, so many changes.
I can't understand how he could have such fundamental changes in what he's saying in 4 days.
Yeah.
You know, on the 5th of November, he sounded pretty sure about what he was saying. On the 9th of November, certain things have changed or he's omitted. And it's, you know, how comes the detail? Why is there no mention in a second interview of the same details that he mentioned 4 days before?
In November, it looks like he mentions very little, other than he left home at 1500 and he stayed home until 23:30 and then left for work.
Oh,
No
see,
mention
yeah,
of a
20, yeah.
fire, no mention of what she was wearing, no mention of whether he saw what he saw her doing, no mention of when he got up.
Well,
and there's also
the story grows as the time goes. It's insane. Oh,
well, and there's also no mention of her walking towards Steve's house.
The truth is easy to remember. It's lies that are difficult.
yeah. Did I hear right when you said Bobby remembers a bonfire 2 weeks
Before she
this
went
event?
missing, right.
Yeah.
But how? Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah, he last remembers seeing a bonfire at Steve's maybe 2 weeks before Teresa went missing. And that's at his trial testimony.
What did he say that the trial?
That was at the trial when he said that.
So here's the trial testimony again. He got up at 1400. He went hunting at a 1440 or a 1445. He had seen Teresa Hallbeck take one photo of the front of the van. She had a black coat on that went past her hips, and she was wearing pants.
Well, that to me would suggest that he's not taking a momentary glance out the window. He's actually stood there watching her.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because if it was just a momentary glance out the window, you wouldn't think twice. You'd look away and you'd pay it no mind. But he seems to kind of remember partly what she's wearing, that she takes one photo of the van. How does he know she only takes one photo?
But didn't he say?
So he
was
must have been
home
stood there for a
at
couple of seconds
1500?
watching her to have known that.
Yeah, but
Well,
how
you know,
can you say?
when he does mention coming home from hunting in any of these statements, one time it's 1645, another time it's 1730,
1730.
another time it's 1700. I mean, you know,
45
between-
minutes is a big gap.
Yeah. When
Big
you
gap.
look at 1645 to 1730, I mean, come on. Yeah.
And yet he accurately guessed that Scott Saddick would know what time it was when he saw him on highway whatever, or 147, wherever it was. And you know, it's for somebody who's got such big gaps in their time, and it's kind of a bit.
Well, how suspect is this?
Well,
I
I'm
mean,
driving
it's-
and-
if
He
you're an
must be clairvoyant.
investigator,
Swear to God.
if you're an investigator and you're on this, look at from 11/5 to 11/9 to February 27. And then come the testimony, it's just nothing lines up properly.
And that's the thing that also made me think when I'm driving, if I see someone I know on the road, I don't look at the watch.
Yeah, you don't. You just you don't.
That's not the
No.
first thing I do. So, how could he know that?
Hey, I said unless he rode with Scott before, and noticed that every time he noticed somebody he knew, he looked at the
checked
clock
the time.
immediately afterward to see exactly what time it is.
But don't forget, Scott also says that he doesn't really know Barb's boys very well, so Bobby would never have been riding with Scott. Sarcasm, sorry.
Yeah,
They seem to be
that's right.
backing each
I
other
love
up an awful
sarcasm.
lot then.
Just seeing, in all of these changing statements from everybody, you know, can people see how screwed up this really is? I mean, truly, I know what
Sure.
time I leave my house for work every single time. I know exactly when I've either gone to bed or woke up. And I do take notice of strange things going on, and my partners here at Foul Play know that because I've sent them videos of stuff before going on. Strange, high strangeness. And, it's not an accident when your statement continuously changes. I just cannot. It's no accident. And I have a hard time believing that if you knew it in your first statement, that you
He
wouldn't
went
know it
hunting
at trial.
He went hunting most days.
For,
And it
for
just
me,
seems to me
Yes.
that
Yes,
for
he
me,
did.
it seems like Scott and Bobby talked together about a story so they could keep it straight, but not even that they can do. They cannot keep their. Oh, I'm getting so mad. You don't understand.
Well, they
Oh,
definitely realized that they would need an alibi, evidently.
yeah.
The importance of having an alibi because they alibied each other.
all that, in
Yeah.
my view, is no alibi at all.
No.
No, it isn't.
No.
No.
As a matter of fact, you just
It
put
can't
yourself
be-
on a chopping block.
Yeah, but it can't be confirmed. So what
No.
value is it?
It
It's
has to
no
be
value,
corroborated.
really. It's no value at all.
That's another thing. How much corroboration was there actually throughout all of it?
Well,
Nothing.
there's none.
No.
Nah, it doesn't appear like there is because
They didn't
none of this
check
makes sense.
anything. They didn't. They got their story. They stuck to it. They made Brandon say what they wanted to say. The poor boy just sat there and was like, "What the hell am I gonna do?" Oh,
They screwed him big time.
Ooh, sorry.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So,
but,
do you all have anything more to say about Bobby Dassey's changing statements? Because my next person is Mr. Pierce.
I hope Bobby goes to jail for perjury. That's
I'll
all
be
I'm
right
gonna
back.
say.
Okay. Well, we have here Tom Pierce is changing statements. On 11/4/05, he and Teresa Hallback have known each other for 4 or 5 years. He called her cell phone on Thursday, November 3rd, and the voicemail box was full. He says Teresa Hallback was provided with a fax machine by AutoTrader. He says he doesn't know if Teresa Hallback gave out cards at clients with her cell phone number listed on it. So that was his statement come November 4/05. So on 4/21/17, he first met with Teresa Hallback when she was a senior year at university. He called her cell phone on Wednesday, November 2nd, and the voicemail box was full. The automated message was not Teresa Hallback's typical voicemail greeting. So at the trial testimony, he met Teresa Hallback January 2002, so he knew her for 3 years. When questioned by Kratz, he called Teresa Hallback's cell phone on the Wednesday, November 2nd. The voicemail box was full. He called her again on Thursday, November 3rd. When questioned by Buting, he called Teresa Hallback's cell phone on Tuesday, November 1st, and the voicemail box was full. He called again on Wednesday and Thursday. He doesn't think Teresa Hallback had a landline phone in her home, but he knows she has a fax machine. Teresa Hallback told him she gave AutoTrader customers her card with her cell phone number on it. Now, unless he's talking to a dead girl, I don't know how she could tell him that. Huh? That's it.
Wow. What about the not being normal voicemail message leaving, the
Yeah, right.
the reading or the whatever? What is that all about? Was it just an automatic one now because she used to use her voice?
Well, this is April of 2021, April 21 of 2017, when he gave an affidavit.
When they reopened the cases,
Mm-hmm.
the case.
Okay.
To the
Yeah.
state or what? They gave it when the who got the statement? The state or Brandon's lawyers?
That would have been, he would have gave, when he gave an affidavit, that would have been to Zellner, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in November of
Because
05,
Zellner was running around asking questions of everybody after she got established in the case. And then they reopened the investigation.
Yeah.
Because Zellner started asking questions about that insurance filing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
On the car, for the damage of the car.
did we talk about, Tom Pierce said that he didn't know if she had a landline, but wouldn't she have to have had a landline to have a fax machine in her home?
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
if she had the internet at home, she would have needed a landline.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I thought
Because
as well growing up
2005.
that if she had a fax machine, she would need a phone.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, and
Yeah.
for the internet back then too.
Yeah, it was ADSL.
Especially where she lives out in the country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
You would have had, yeah.
was no fiber or something in that time.
Yeah. No.
Mm.
No, it was
Well,
dial-up where she lived.
It was all dial up.
At least she had to have an IP
Right.
phone. An IP phone, internet-based phone.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you got to have the internet to have that. So
Yeah, of course.
yeah. Yeah.
So if she didn't have a regular landline per se, she definitely would have had an IP phone to have a fax. That I know for a fact. So I'm kind of into computers
Back-
and all
So
that.
Back then,
in
the
05,
IP
he
phones
says
weren't
he-
very good here either.
05, he says he'd known her for 4 or 5 years, and at the trial, he said he met in January 2002 and knew her for 3 years.
He had been groomed by a rat, So
Mm-hmm.
Well,
slimy. Ugh.
What relevance
And there's
would that
also-
even have? For why would you not know that to begin with?
I don't know. Maybe there was something between them. More.
maybe
just
he wanted
friends.
there to be.
Yeah.
It would
Yeah.
have probably been more like he wanted
Yeah,
there to
I
be.
look at
Yeah.
him like the creepy stalker, kind of like, the dirty old man type thing towards Teresa.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of see him.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple other things about him, like there was
Okay, I
on
want
the
to
news
ask.
here.
I want to ask a question, and I know this is not in one of the statements per se, but he made mention of her saying it would be her last day at Auto Trader, and he seemed to be the only
Yeah,
one that had that
Halloween was
information.
going to be
Yes,
his. Yeah.
that
How can that
bothered
be?
me.
I mean, he's not the boss, is he? So
No.
no.
He
How
Because
how
he will
said
work
that?
at Auto
She
Trader.
said, "This is my last day at Auto Trader."
She told him
What-
that Halloween was going to be her last
Yep.
day at
Well,
Auto
then she
Trader.
probably had a different job or something.
Yeah, but she made arrangements after that date.
With no
so-
explanation to follow it up. Just
Yeah.
that statement was made to him. He claimed before.
Well, there also
Halloween.
was there was also an intern that claimed he was verbally abusive. another girl who worked for him.
Is this documented, like her saying that? I mean, is it did she give like a 2-week notice or something he didn't know, or that's just hearsay from him, or what?
Mm.
And he seems like a
That's
creep
strange.
who could be.
Yeah, it was in one of his statements, but see, he only said it once, so it's not a contradicting one. You know, he didn't ever say anything to contradict that statement, so that's why it's not in here.
The
Yeah, I
thing
get
that
that. I
bothers
Well, I
me
think that,
is the lack of
mm,
investigative. They didn't check and double check and with the leads they got.
No
Well,
corroboration.
No.
there was also on. I don't think it was the Verdat, but there was an interview on the news here. Many years later, it was like a 12-year anniversary after she had died or something. I'm not sure if it was on her birthday or if it was for Halloween. But there was this creepy interview he gave on the news where they showed like the front of the studio and that one picture of her that he had taken for Mother's Day of her for her mother, where
yeah,
she kind of, you see that snaggle tooth really good in the front. And then there was a few pictures of kids in the window, and they were supposed to be, there was like 3 different kids or something there, and they were supposed to be pictures she had taken of children. And then they go inside and they talk to him, and they had this interview. And he said some really creepy things. I can't quite put my finger on anything specific, and I tried to find it online afterwards because usually the news station here puts all their stories. But it was
That's
pretty
strange.
creepy. He came off really creepy in the interview.
But
but there
it's
isn't an
strange you
awful
cannot find it. Though.
there isn't an awful lot of Tom Pierce on film, and I think that's deliberate as well. I think they tried to keep him away from the public spotlight. Definitely, you know, it's I think
Okay,
it's
I've got something else I'm going to read here. It says
testimony has muddied the waters a bit.
11405, he stated that the photo studio is closed on Mondays and he did not believe that Teresa had any bookings on Tuesday. Teresa did mention to him that she would see him on Tuesday, 11105. He stated that Teresa had plans to attend business marketing meeting on Wednesday, 11205, and he indicated that she would be in between 11 a.m. and 12 noon on Wednesday. He stated that when she did not appear at the studio or go to the business marketing meeting on Wednesday, he became concerned for her. Now, on 4/21/17, he says when Miss Hallback did not appear at the studio on Wednesday, November 2, 2005, I became very concerned. I knew Miss Hallback had planned on attending a business marketing meeting on Wednesday morning and coming to work afterwards sometime around 11 a.m. When she did not appear by 12, I called her cell phone.
But that contradicts what he said before, that she was going to work the last day on 31st.
That's for Auto Trader.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
He was saying that she had mentioned to him, and I don't remember where I heard this. In the phone call, I think when he calls into dispatch, maybe? I'm not for sure. But he mentions that she said that Halloween would be her last night at Auto Trader, which would have been Monday, right?
And also at some point he says, I'm not sure if it's in trial testimony or not, but at some point he does say that he's in the early stages of Alzheimer's.
Oh, yeah.
but how can how can it be that he knows everything about her, every plan she had. I mean, isn't that kind of suspicious?
I don't know. They are business. They're kind of doing business, out of his place of business, doing photography.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But still, though, it's kind of much to know everything. Oh.
He does seem to have a whole lot more information about her and not personal, but her business personal life. He seems to have an awful lot and he's very specific with times and very well rehearsed statement. It seems to me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Didn't
so specific that it's just so specific that it's like a clue to me that he knows something pretty important.
Well,
and nowhere is there anything that says that, like, the cops checked this woman's meeting to see if it was true that she didn't attend. Nowhere do we see anything like that, so we have no idea if they did or didn't. I'm assuming they didn't.
Because there's no big technology done on Teresa. It's hard to know who these people are that are speaking about her, because we don't know enough about them, because we don't know enough about Teresa. If this was her everyday behavior and they're just saying it wasn't, or if this is really strange for her behavior, I mean, we don't know, because they didn't do enough victimology in my view.
They didn't do any victimology.
No, zero.
Right. No, they did. They vilified. Is that what it's called? They were
vilified.
So, yep. That's
Stephen.
No,
Stephen.
They deified
They
her.
deified
and
her.
vilified.
They
Yeah.
deified her, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Neverly. Well, I don't want to get too off track with this, but Tom Pierce, if anybody, had very little to say, in my opinion. And there wasn't a whole lot they could corroborate because, after all, I mean, these were all things that were supposed to happen after she supposedly went missing. Who knows? So that's kind of unless they want to corroborate those meetings were scheduled. That's pretty much all they could. But
and they never checked anyone that was close to her.
They didn't do any follow-up at all. None of it.
No.
What
Anybody-
mind-boggling to me is that the ex-boyfriend was just sailing through, being on crime scenes and.
Well,
It's, oh my God!
You missed our Ryan episode. Yeah,
I have seen it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think the most alarming thing, which was not in any of these statements, was to me that just seemed really odd, was for her to mention to him and for him to repeat it to anyone. That was that she had said that her last day would be Halloween at Auto Trader.
I agree.
Right.
That's very strange. And
none of her family or friends or anybody seemed to know or say that same thing, just him.
Exactly.
how did Tom Pierce know that, and also Trader didn't?
right. Well, in that,
I mean,
Tom Pierce is the only person that I'm aware of who even says that.
Who mentions it?
Right.
So when did she give her notice to Auto Trader then? Because that wasn't followed up either.
No.
There's no, we know, prosecutorial statement. We checked with the organisation and they did say that she'd handed in her notice. There's none of that. So, why is that
I think
even allowed? Because none of it's been corroborated. None of it.
I think this is the questions that we're having is take a look at everybody that we're going through and how their statements are changing. And none of this is really brought into question.
None of it. It's not even, what gets me is that it's not challenged by the defence either.
No.
They should have been in there tearing this apart, demanding
Oh, yes.
corroboration from the state for all
Absolutely.
the statements that had been made. And where there was none of it provided, it should all have been struck off as hearsay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's irrelevant. It's just there to muddy the
Agree.
waters.
I agree.
I do
It's
too.
just there to complicate matters.
I agree.
A red
She's
herring, I
not,
think.
in my mind, she is not even being identified. Really,
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
No, Lynn. Nothing at all.
No.
Teresa.
Nothing at
So,
all.
Yeah, in fact, they whitewash her. They whitewash her. They say, oh, the only reason why she ever was in bars was because she liked to sing karaoke. She would get real into it and point her finger at people as she was singing.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with the
I've
fact that
seen
she liked to
pictures of
screw
her.
around and, you know.
I've seen pictures of her just completely drunk at the microphone.
So,
Yeah.
okay. Can you guess who my next person is?
Mm.
M.H.
I can.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, we're going to kind of take a look at my
Come on, you.
callback.
Sorry, go ahead.
My callback.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Trial testimony
yay!
is a 2/12/2007. So they were able to nail down Teresa Hallback's appointments for October 31st. How? On Thursday night or Friday morning, they figured out Avery Salvage Yard was one of Teresa Hallback's appointments on October 31st. He had account information for Teresa Hallback's cell phone and computer password. He knew the password for Teresa Hallback's voicemail. He checked Teresa Hallback's voicemails on Thursday early evening after his mom had filed a missing persons report. He doesn't recall if Teresa Hallback was wearing a purse. That is strange. Tom Pierce stated she always carried her cell phone in her purse. He stated Teresa Hallback owned a Hasselblad camera. Where is it? And a little snapshot camera for Auto Trader. He stated Teresa Hallback used the Canon camera for Auto Trader. He stated Teresa Hallback started her business in 2002. How? She started her internship that year. So, trial testimony, March 07 of 07. He had a feeling that he might know Teresa Hallback's voicemail password. He called her on Thursday, November 3rd, and he accurately guessed her password. Her password included her birthday and day and month, and that was successful in getting into her voicemail. He stated there were 18 messages. He listened to all of them, saved, and half of them, but doesn't believe he erased any.
Now, if that
Okay,
was me
okay,
and I was
I do
looking
not-
for my sister, I'd be there with a pen and paper,
Yep.
taking details of all the callers, the times and dates of the call, the
Yeah.
reason for the call,
Yeah.
and I'd be handing that to the law. So you don't just listen to it and not take any notice
How
of
do
it.
you? Yeah.
And as to Teresa's camera, that Hasselblad camera is an expensive piece of kit, a very expensive camera. Where is that camera?
Yeah.
That you know,
I-
How do you not believe you deleted anything? It says to you on a phone, you push 7 or 9 or whatever it
Yeah.
is on that phone.
Yeah.
But it,
Yeah,
you,
one to
you
delete,
would know
two to
if you
save,
deleted
three
it,
to
it
yeah.
says so. It tells you. So I believe that to be a false statement.
I
Yeah,
would
but-
never had opened those voicemails. I would have said, okay, here's the password, try this, and then gave that to law enforcement. I would never have opened it myself if I had a missing
well,
one
and if you're
there.
gonna open it, you set up a recorder and you play them on
Yeah.
speakerphone,
Yeah,
and
but-
you
yeah, but
record.
Let's look at it this way. You are looking for your missing sister. Do you want
Yeah, but,
anything to slip through your fingers ever? No.
Right.
I think
Yeah,
not.
why? Yeah, you wouldn't. You're looking for answers, and them could be that one of them phone calls could be the very last person to have any contact with her and tell you any remote thing, I mean, that could lead to where she was or who she was, who might have hurt her or anything. So why would you even bother to listen to it without the law if you're looking for your sister?
My speculation is that he knows
Yeah.
what happened to her, because my theory has always been that Ryan snapped or something. Or
Yeah, but my callback saying that it was her password was her birthday, day and month, but in court,
No,
Ryan
it
said
was to
it was
do-
her
Sister.
sister.
It was her sister's. It was to do.
Yeah,
We figured
yeah.
it was something to do with her sister's date of birth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's two
Yes.
contradictions.
Well,
Right
there you
away.
are. And again, it wasn't torn apart by the defence.
No.
Why not?
Exactly.
And if
I
I was
just-
that defense, I would have been all over that crap, because that bothers the piss out of me, that to
Oh, big
think
time.
that it's your sibling, it's a family member, they're missing. You went in there and listened to stuff, and now it is been tampered with.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
nobody
I
is
mean,
the
one way-
wiser as to who, what, when, where.
I mean, one way, really, when back then, I mean, it wasn't like secure and everything like that is what it is now. And I think that maybe somebody phoned the company saying that they were maybe Teresa to be able to get this information for the password. You know, one of our pals or a cousin or something like that has phoned them up and said, "Oh, hiya, I'm Teresa Hallback. I forgot my password and I don't know what. Can you help me out and give me it?" And that's maybe how
Maybe.
they came
Yeah.
across the actual password. But as you say, Wizard, it didn't get looked into, it didn't get dug into, and it didn't get investigated enough
No, it didn't.
for that to be confirmed.
And
Something that I
because none
wanted
of it's confirmed, because none of it's been confirmed, how can any of it be entered into court testimony?
Exactly.
You know, it's not been checked. All you've got is the word of a is the word of a crooked prosecutor.
Wasn't it also a guy who was convicted of murder had made a call and left on her
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
answering machine?
Yep.
Something that I wanted to try to clarify that it's been bugging me for a while, and I've just not gone back and checked it myself. Going back to passwords. So my callback had the password for the voicemail, right? I think in Ryan's testimony,
He said
he's
they
talking
thought up
about
a username.
the computer, for the computer to get her cell phone records,
Yeah.
which is kind of two different things. That's what I
Said
call that.
that was not clarified at all.
Well,
As I remember. So
and Mike's statement is very different from Ryan because they both claim to have gotten into it.
I
Well,
can
now
be
you
quite
know.
a devious.
Yeah.
I can be quite a devious bastard. And to my way of thinking, this is how I look at things. Okay, Ryan was staying in her house. As such, he had access to all of her documents. With all of her documents, he should have had no problem
Right. You would think.
kind of hijacking or
DNA.
taking over
Well,
the account.
well,
Now, why is it that they've all got to come up with such wildly varying stories about how they got into her voicemail? Why is it that there is so much there's so much smoke and mirrors there, and it's making me wonder why? Now, there was someone made a suggestion yesterday or the day before about, was it the police or LE who listens to the answer to the
Well, here I have
voicemails,
something
and
that
is it
says,
them that deleted some of the calls?
so we've got my callback testimony saying her password for that included her birthday, the month and day, and we understand that to be the sister anyway, and that was successful in getting into her voicemail. The question he's asked is, she used her birth date as her password. The answer he gave was yes.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Ryan Hilligus' testimony. Well, me and Kelly Bitson had just kind of figured that it would really be something related to her sister. I think it was their birthdays that got into it for us.
Yeah. Yeah. We made up a username and it was something to do with her sister's date of birth that got us into it for us. Yeah.
I think they did.
Username.
I need to go and recheck some.
So is this
Because
not?
I really thought that what Ryan was talking. You guys.
Is this not a wedge though that this defense could use? Because this is bullcrap.
Right, but what you got to understand is that Mike Holbeck's talking about the voicemail, getting into the voicemail through a mobile or whatever, and Ryan's talking about accessing it through a PC.
Yep.
So there are two different systems there, and it could be two different passwords.
Yeah, but they should know that, though.
But look, listen,
should know
if you're calling, you see, with a lot of mobile phone contracts, you can get a separate number to call for the voicemail. You can dial that number, insert another number, and that will put you into your account. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to use the speed dial function on the mobile to access your voicemail.
That's right. That's right.
You can remotely access your voicemail.
Do we know was any of this corroborated?
Well, I mean, it was the same. No. I can remember in 2005, it was the same for me. My mobile phone provider provided me with a number that I could dial to access my voicemail. I can really remember that. So it would have been the same in America in 2005, I'm sure.
I think what you actually did here, is if you were on a different phone, you called your own phone number, and right when the voicemail first kicks in, you push a button or a couple buttons,
number. Yep.
And then it lets you into your voice. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if they had that information, because of the fact that Ryan was staying at her home anyway, he might have been able to have found the contract, the hard copy, and have worked out his own way to get into the voicemail. They wouldn't have needed to access it through the computer.
Yeah.
Well, and what I kind of think probably happened was, if Kelly Pitson's there, it's Pitson, that's a typo. If she's there, she's her cousin, best friend, always growing up. Her cousin, too. I believe that she called up and said, I'm Teresa, I can't get in. Here's my birthday, my social security number, here's my bank account, whatever.
This is the last time I paid my bill. This is what my bill amount was for. Do you need any further corroboration? No, madam, no problem. There you are.
We'll reset it for you. We'll reset it for you, and you can get in and make the password, whatever you want.
Do what you need to do.
Was she interviewed, though? Was she in the trial? I didn't see.
Pitson wasn't in the trial, but she was around at least one time when the police were there talking to them, I believe, somewhere there's.
How?
Because there was one time that it was like Ryan and a couple of her friends were there when they came out and talked to them, and that's near the beginning.
But no one was interviewed or taken into the police and having.
It does not appear so. It does not appear as though they were, and that is also a very, very, very peculiar.
Well, actually, they did. They come and got someone. His name was Avery.
Harrigus is asked, were you ever asked to provide an alibi? And he says no.
I cannot understand.
Right. Well, okay. This is a part 2 of the changing statements. Now we've gone through quite a few on several individuals.
And
I wanted to mention to everyone.
And this was a project that Zoe had done.
Yes. And we're doing this as a foul play team. Together, everyone achieves more. And visit the foulplay.site for any of the things that you want to go look into for yourself. They should be there. You should have free access to this. There's no fee. And all you do is type in foulplay.site. But I wanted to let everyone know that this is a part 2. So if you want to know about part 1, go back and look for part 1 on the changing statements, where we begin our discussions on this. But this is an example of what our Powder Puff team is doing out here and the kind of discussions that we're having. And also want to tell you, do have a feel-good moment. And
before you do that, let's mention not my verbiage. She's got a very important, Linda K. listening.
Mm-hmm.
She has a very important upcoming interview with somebody she's been dying to interview. So you need to stay tuned and look out for that.
Yeah.
Thank you. A couple very nice.
Yeah, but one in particular. We'll bait them and leave them hang like that.
No way.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I wanted you to know that our feel-good moment, first of all, I want to mention Courtney Hadwin from America's Got Talent. You can go and find her on YouTube, but I'm going to try and provide the link in either the description or the messages down below. But it's just a good way to end things when we have any kind of heated discussions, or at all. In this case, we have to have a feel-good moment. So that's just one of them. There's going to be another one, and it'll be a little surprise for you. And so I just wanted to mention it. I want to thank every single buddy for coming. Is there anyone that did not get to have anything to say, in this discussion? Did, everybody kind of get off their chest what they were thinking in the short period of time we had? Well, it sounds good to me.
I would name somebody that I might get kicked under the
You
table.
would get kicked.
You better not. I want you all to know, and this goes out especially to Brendan and Stephen, don't count the days. Make the days count. And we love you.
This has been a Foul Play production.